Alright, y'all. Yeah, I'm totally drinking a beer while I do this video. No judgment. It is Sunday, the day before Memorial Day, and it's 5:30. So it's 5 o'clock somewhere here in Texas. Alright, hey y'all. How are my beautiful nerds? I actually recorded this and released this podcast on Friday, but I just haven't been able to get around to making an actual YouTube video because, one, I've been feeling under the weather. But I'm feeling better now, so, and as you can see, yeah, I am. I'm totally going to. I mean, to each his own, I guess, but, alright, let's do this. My name is Chanel, and I am the host of the Rebel podcast without an intro, even though I figured out how to do an intro. Like, I didn't know you can make one on Canva. I do graphics and stuff on Canva. I had no idea you could make an intro on Canva with, like, music and stuff. But I like not having an intro. So here it goes. You're listening to the Nerd in Texas podcast, the show that brings you useless information and fun facts about your favorite movies, actors, or fandoms. I am literally a nerd in Texas, and I talk about TV shows and movies and stuff that I've just binge watched or that I'm excited about. If you are new to my podcast, thank you for taking the time to check out my podcast. I hope you enjoy it, and I promise I won't take up too much of your time. But the way I do things here is I give Twitter 3 options, and I let them vote for the topic of the week. This time, I remembered the standings. Okay, here they are. In last place with 25% of the votes was He's All That, the She's All That remake, and trust me, I have opinion on that. Then, with 35%, I had the Charmed reboot, and trust me, I have an opinion on that one, like a big one. But our winner came in at 40% with Yellowstone, so I cannot wait to dive into it. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. I love every single one of you. I checked my P.O. box a couple days ago, and I got 2 packages from some listeners. Thank you so much for the Abba Zabbas. Y'all sent me, a listener sent me 3 bags of Abba Zabbas because we were talking, and I told them, like, I love that candy, and I can't find it anywhere here in Texas. Like, I know it's in California, and apparently they can get it where they are. So, I also got something else, but I forgot what it was. But here's the deal. So I have a P.O. box, okay? Oh, I also got these really cool Oracle Spiritual as F cards. Like, hold on, I have the box here. It's a Spiritual as F box of spiritual cards. They're kind of like sarcastic and witty, and then I got this Oracle Rebel deck, which is the same thing, kind of sarcastic and witty, because I am sarcastic and witty. But, so here's the deal. I have a P.O. box, and I've had listeners send me things on at the P.O. box or whatever, and it's only like a handful of listeners. I also send care packages back to them, so I'm not just receiving. I love giving more than I love receiving. And so if you are interested in, like, sending me something, you just message me and I'll give you the P.O. box, or it's on my website, and then I'll send you a care package back if you want a care package. It's completely, because some people don't, some people whatever. I'll also give you a shout out on my podcast, but some people ask not to. So if you don't want a shout out on the podcast or a YouTube video, then I won't. All right. That was kind of a lot. So instead of going on about a sponsor like Alamo Draft House and their amazing fried pickles, draft beer, and movies, and saying something like the links for movie tickets, gift cards, and movie memorabilia are in my links page, I'm going to tell you about a different podcast to check out. And this one actually talked about me on their podcast. They talked about a tweet that I tweeted. So now I'm going to talk about them talking about me talking about the tweet. I tried being smart and witty on that one. I just don't think it worked. But so it's the 8750th podcast, and they are hilarious. These are the type of dudes that I would drink and have a few beers with and judge people. But anyways, I posted a screenshot of a conversation that a message that I got on Instagram. Sorry, I just threw my phone so we wouldn't hear it, and then I ended up like making a huge commotion. But I posted the screenshot on Twitter, and the message said, I'm looking for a sugar baby, and I loved your profile picture. I will send you like $3,500 in payment. Something along the lines of that. I forgot what it really said. And I also can't find the tweet. Like, I forgot what I tweeted, but it was something like, does this really work? Asking for a friend. And then I said something sarcastic and then was like, I don't know. I forgot what it was, but they talked about it on their podcast. And it's hard getting my sense of humor across on platforms like Twitter and Facebook, because things that I might be joking about, like, it doesn't seem, I don't know, you'd have to know me personally and know my sense of humor. Like, my sense of humor is like, do movie quotes and like quotes from music or popular YouTube videos maybe sometimes, or popular like TikTok memes or sounds or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I just have a weird sense of humor, and it's hard to get that across on social media. So sometimes I like try not to do it at all. But then I end up, I don't know, never mind. I'm good. I'm sidetracking. But anyways, they're super funny. I said something like, does this really work? And I meant it as a joke. I mean, even if that really does work, okay, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I am single, and when I say I'm single, I am single, okay? I have dating apps. I have all that stuff, but it makes me nervous as F, okay? I can't even, like, go on a date with someone that I meet on a dating site. There's no way I'd be able to, like, agree to having a sugar baby from Instagram, you know? And so, I mean, and then say I do agree to be this dude's sugar baby and he sends me money. What am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to, like, what are my terms and conditions here? Like, what do I do with this sugar daddy? Like, do I water it? Do I go for walks? Do I take it for walks? Like, what do I do with it? Like, I don't know. And I feel like if I agree to it, this would be me, like, this would be the part of the documentary where it would be like, she agreed to be a sugar baby, and that's when everything went wrong, you know? And then you'd pan over to, like, my mom, and she would say something like, she was a great young lady, she just made bad decisions. Like, I don't know. Anyways, let's get started on Yellowstone. I am warning you, Yellowstone is rated R and has a lot of adult content such as violence, profanity, nudity, and sex. So, I'm going to be talking about the show with no spoilers. Season 4 comes out in November, and they just released the trailer for it, and it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be amazing. They leave you on a huge cliffhanger at the end of Season 3. Like, something huge happens, and then it ends. So, I hate it when they do that. But it gets you hooked, and it makes you need to, like, wait for Season 4, you know? I mean, I'm talking about when I'm saying leave you on a cliffhanger, you are hanging on by your fingernails, okay? You are, like, and you have to wait there until November. But this weekend, which is Labor Day weekend, they're doing a marathon on Paramount Network. If you don't remember what a marathon is, it's where you watch things like whole seasons of shows and stuff on regular TV before we had on demand and can binge watch things. So full disclosure, I had a hard time wanting to watch this show. I love Western movies. I grew up on them with my dad, and my dad passed away when I was 18. It's characters like John Dutton that make me think of my dad, because my dad was just like him. Like, my dad had a mind just like him. I live on a ranch. My dad grew up on a farm, and he wanted what John Dutton has, basically. I catch myself kind of having the same mind as my dad, I guess. If there's a problem, my dad would map it out in his mind, and then he would just do it no matter how crazy or it sounded or against the law it might be. No, he never killed anyone like John Dutton, but shoot, no, I didn't really give that away because things happen. But my dad do some pretty crazy things, and I have a lot of stories. The cast is amazing, and I love every single one of them. Of course, we have Kevin Costner, who plays John Dutton. Luke Grimes plays Casey Dutton. Luke Grimes sounds like a mixture between a country artist and like Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead. Like never mind. Anyways, he plays Casey Dutton, and he was also in 50 Shades of Grey, which is totally lame. I couldn't stand those books or the movies. But he was in American Sniper and The Magnificent Seven, so that makes up for it. Kelly Riley, I think that's how you say her name, plays the amazing Beth Dutton. I wish I could be Beth Dutton. She is a tough as nails, can't, push anything over on her type of character. This show is the first time that I've seen her, but she was actually in the movie Flight, Pride and Prejudice, Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., and has won many awards for her acting, and it shows. She's an amazing actress. Wes Bentley as Jamie Dutton. He played the weird kid in American Beauty where he filmed the bag flowing around, and played Seneca Crane in Hunger Games. Cole Hauser as Rip Wheeler. He is in so many movies. Too Fast, Too Furious, Dazed and Confused, Good Will Hunting, Olympus Has Fallen, A Good Day to Die Hard, throw a dart and land, and he was probably in that movie. When you see him as Rip Wheeler, you don't realize that he was those characters in those movies because he looks like a completely different person. You're like, what? That's the same guy? It's crazy. When I figured out who he was, I was like, whoa. But anyways, because he's just one of okay, so you do watch it and you do get that feeling where you're like, I've seen him before, but you don't realize that it's him. You know what I mean? Never mind. I guess it's probably just a just me thing. But we have Ian Bohan. I think that's how you say his name. I love him, and I am in love with this man. He is my husband. He just does not know it yet. I fell in love with him when he was in Teen Wolf remake on MTV. He was in the Batman Dark Knight Rises. He was in a lot of TV shows where he had small roles. Alright, so there's many more amazing actors and actresses in that show, but those are the ones that I wanted to get across. Y'all know I already checked IMDb, and IMDb describes it as Yellowstone follows the Dutton family led by John Dutton, who controls the largest ranch in the United States under constant attack by those it borders, land developers, and an Indian reservation, and America's first national park. It is an intense study of a violent world far from media scrutiny, where land grabs make developers billions and politicians are bought and sold by the world's largest oil and lumber corporations, where drinking water poisoned by fracking wells and unsolved murders are not news. They are consequences of living in the new frontier. It is the best and worst of America seen through the eyes of a family that represents both. Again, what does that even mean? Don't get me wrong, it's pretty on point, but it sounds like something a CNN news anchor wrote about it. So it's like, come on. Let's dumb this down a little bit. It got 8.6 stars out of 10 On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 80% average on the tomato meter and 81% for the average audience score. You know I don't like Rotten Tomatoes and their meters, but these ratings are pretty impressive for Rotten Tomatoes. So fun fact, there's actually a few fun facts. Yellowstone Ranch is actually a real ranch. It is the Chief Joseph Ranch, and it's 150 acres. I live on 50 acres, and it has one pasture. I can't imagine 150. The TV show is shot in Utah and Montana. There was controversy after the casting was announced that Kelsey Asbiel would be playing the Native American wife on, like, as a main character. Casey Asbiel. Full name is Kelsey Asbiel Chow, is mixed race Asian American, and she claimed to be descended from Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, but the tribe issued a statement saying that they have no record of Chow, nor did they find any evidence that she is a descendant. As a result of the casting, prominent people in the Native American community called for a boycott, asking Native American actors to stay away from the Yellowstone project. Chow was in Teen Wolf, The Amazing Spider-Man, and in One Tree Hill on the CW. In the second season, when Neil McDonough is pulled over by the sheriff, he asks if his taillights are out. And this could be a reference of Walking Tall, when Dwayne Johnson pulled him over and busted his taillights out. Walking Tall is based off of a real sheriff, and even John Wayne created a movie based off of that story. So here we go. To me, Yellowstone is like Game of Thrones, but no incest, and in Montana with a bunch of cowboys instead of Dungeons and Dragons. It follows the family and the Yellowstone Ranch that they own. They are descendants of a 19th century Montana settler, and they are pretty much one half of Montana and is the largest continual ranch in the U.S., like I've said before. And it's like a modern 2021 version of Cowboys and Indians. The Duttons find themselves in the middle of a tug of war for their land with land developers who want to break up their land and a native community in Montana that is an Indian reservation. Season 1 covers the introduction to the characters and their hard pasts. The father is John Dutton. Jamie Dutton, who is played by Wes Bentley, who is a lawyer and does not fit in with the ranchers or his own family at all, for that matter, at all. Beth Dutton, by Kelly Riley, is the one and only Dutton's sister, and I wish I could be like her. At one point in the show, she says that she destroys people's lives for a living, and yes, that's what she does. She is good at it. I don't want to destroy people's lives for a living. I just want what she has, where, like, a hater could say something, and they'll be like, I got her. Ooh. They'll be like, ooh, burn. And then, bam, she comes back with something, and it's like, oh, no, you just got burned, you know? Like, people think that they beat her, but there's no one, like, she's always one step ahead of people, always has a good burn, and I love it. Casey, played by Luke Grimes, and his son... I have a stupid cup holder on my desk, and I hit it every time, and it hurts, and I keep forgetting to take it off my desk because I don't even use it, but it abuses me, and it hurts. But, so, season 1 is about Yellowstone Ranch fighting the Broken Rock Reservation, as the people on the reservation believe boundaries should be put in place. They feel they still own the rights to Dutton's land. The battle starts right away in episode 1 when John Dutton's son is murdered by a Broken Rock resident. Thomas Rainwater becomes the new chief of the Broken Rock Reservation. Dan Jenkins is a developer who wants to start new projects on Dutton's land. While this is happening, Dan Jenkins is trying to either steal or seize most of the Dutton's land for development purposes. Beth gives herself the task of ruining Dan Jenkins' life while fighting her own demons. Jamie and Beth hate each other and constantly making trouble for John Dutton, who's just trying to keep his land, constantly having to put out their fires that they create, trying to get back at each other. Casey is forced to do things for his father that he does not want to do, and this is the reason he resents his father in the first place, putting him in kind of a downward spiral. Now, Rip Wheeler is John Dutton's right-hand man and has been loyal since day one. Can't stand most of John's kids, but he loves him some Beth. He is willing to do anything and everything to protect the family and the land. So that is it for... Well, the cup holder's gone. So that is it without any spoilers. There's a lot of things that happened in between, and it gets crazy. So season 2, pretty much a lot stayed the same. Some small characters in the show get more character development, and so that's something that you see more of. Even though Thomas Rainwater of the Broken Rock Reservation announced he has plans to open a casino, and Dan Jenkins partners up with Rainwater just to be shut out, and then he just ends up being shut out of the project altogether. They are forced to partner up with John Dutton to fight off the Beck brothers, who own a giant casino and is not happy that there could be another casino in town. Now, the Beck brothers don't play nice. They do some outlandish, crazy, insane things to the Dutton family that I'm not going to say because I want you to watch it for yourself. I don't want to take that away from you. Casey is made livestock agent due to something that happens to his wife. She decides to distance herself and their son from Casey, and he doesn't take that very well. Jamie Dutton decides to run for Attorney General of Montana. His own blood, the Dutton family, do not trust Jamie as far as they can throw him, especially Beth. Beth hates him. Beth Dutton gets it really bad. It really, really bad in season 2. She messed with the Beck brothers and they retaliate against her, and they use it as a way to deliver a message to John Dutton. Rip comes to the rescue just in time. Now, what happens to Beth if you are what's the word for it? I can't. Just a warning that what happens to Beth is very violent, very bad, and if that's something that's kind of like triggering for you, or like if watching a man go violent towards a woman is kind of triggering for you or upsetting to you or anything like that, I suggest like skipping through that whole scene. But it's kind of an important part because you have to know like what happens. But anyways, by the end of the season, the Beck brothers take it too far, causing John Dutton to really step in. And not only does he step in, but he asks for the help of Chief Rainwater to combine forces. Now, I'm not going to say what they do or what happens, but you have to watch it to find out. Season 3, I would say, is the most intense season, and it doesn't happen until the very end that you realize how intense it is. Some of the threats on Dutton family, they no longer have to worry about, but they have a new threat, and that is the state of Montana is one of them, as is one of the threats. Market Equities has their eye on the Dutton land and wants, well, as much land as they can get. They get with the state of Montana to get it. The fight to either have John Dutton sell or lose it entirely and have it seized is a huge problem for John Dutton. not only is it a huge problem, but it causes friendships to, betray one another. John is getting tired of fighting and is enjoying having to camp far out on his land with no cell phone service. But things are brewing while he is unreachable. When he is forced to go back to reality, he has to attend a joint land rights meeting with Governor Perry, Beth, Jamie Rainwater, and Market Equities, especially when Jamie surprises everyone and it's like surprises John, surprises Beth, and really makes Beth hate him even more. Not going to tell you what. Casey surprisingly becomes the cool, calm, and collected one. The townspeople love him and his lifestyle of leadership, and he took down a lot of troublesome folk, or some people who were hurting or stealing cattle. And then a lot of the townspeople who agree with the way he was doing things want him to run for governor. Beth, after what happened to her in season 2, you would think she would cool out, chill out, and not ruffle up any more feathers. Ruffles up some feathers. It's just her. It's her style. Beth is my queen. She gets blindsided when Jamie goes all lawyer on her, and I'm not going to tell you what happens, but Beth really hates him now. Beth has been ruffling up feathers for Market Equities all season long. I'm not going to tell you what she does. You just have to watch it. She's just amazing. Now, what's the war over this time? Market Equities wants to use the Dutton land for an airport. Making it an airport makes it the state of Montana's problem. Chief Rainwater is not happy about this airport because it affects the reservation. He has a fiery lawyer himself, Angela Blue Thunder, and she is Thunder for a reason. She is an indigenous person, or an indigenous woman. I don't know why I said that. It's not even in my notes. With a law degree. She is not happy that Rainwater wants to join forces with the Duttons, and gives Rainwater a speech about how the government creates rules for the indigenous people, and then they change the rules, making it impossible for the indigenous people to survive or have what they earned or deserve. And it's, not gonna lie, 100% true. You are left with something that happens at the very end of season 3 that, like I said, is a huge cliffhanger. And I cannot wait for season 4 because I gotta know what happens. I gotta know. What is the result of what happened at the end of season 3? It's so insane that I want to scream about it, and I want to tell y'all, but I don't, because I want y'all to see it. It's like one of those jaw-dropping moments, and I don't want to take one of those jaw-dropping moments away from you. I hate it when people give away spoilers. I I think it was during the Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton election where people were like, if you vote for this person, I'll unfollow you. Well, it was the same time as Walking Dead was coming out, and I was like, I won't unfollow you for whatever president you vote for, but I will unfollow you if you post spoilers. Because it just makes me so angry. Now, it is in the works and production for a Yellowstone prequel that is being filmed here in Texas, and it's not that far from me. The cast is going to be awesome with the likes of Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill. My news feed on Facebook is people taking pictures of Sam Elliott here in a small town in Texas. And it's like he's in Tombstone all over again, and I love it. Tombstone is my favorite movie, in case if you don't know. Am I going to stalk Sam Elliott? No. I mean, I would like to, but the drive is a little too far, and I mean, I just want him to talk to me. I don't even have to take a selfie. Just talk to me. His voice is so I don't know, he just has one of those voices, and men can admit the same thing, that he has one of those voices. So this concludes my podcast episode. If you have found value in my show, please leave a review or just tell another friend about my podcast. If you'd like to help support my podcast, you can go to my Ko-fi page. Any donation you leave gives you access to my Discord server. Thank you for Kevin and Cassie for being my only subscriber right now. I also made a really cool Nerd in Texas phone wallpaper. I put that in there. I have stickers. I need to put that on there. Yeah. The Nerd in Texas phone wallpaper I made, it's more of like a country, like Yellowstone-ish type of wallpaper, but it's really cool. I'm going to be making a different one that's more nerdy-ish because it makes a little more sense. But I hope you'll have a great weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, and I'm sure you are not watching this on Labor Day weekend, but I just want to make sure that you guys are safe, and have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe my video, please. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. Bye.